All right, we have this stream on YouTube, and it's against an 11K. I don't think I played this guy. So this is a basic, very basic start. I am actually going to do the low pincer. That's a weird answer for the low pincer. Let me actually get him my channel, because actually it's in my profile. That is a really weird answer for this, actually. I could go down here, but I think I'm going to cover. I'm not exactly sure what to do here, because if I go here, I don't want him to jump out. That would be bad. I think I'm going to go here instead. I can take the outer influence. The better move is obviously to invade the corner. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm really not sure how to respond to this. Maybe I should have just done that. I've never actually had someone fly into the corner. I've never actually had someone fly into the corner after doing this, so it's kind of strange. Yeah, it is really strange for someone to actually do this. This is obviously favoring me right now. The more he crawls, the more it actually favors me. I think the correct move would be go here, but I don't really know. It's kind of a weird, it is kind of a weird way to start the game. I actually don't know what to do in this situation. I mean, it doesn't favor him because he's making me too thick on the outside. And he's not getting that many points, but it's not too bad because he can actually get the corner there. Yeah, it's kind of what I expected him to do. Okay. That works, I guess. We're going to pincer because I have this thick group here, and it doesn't make sense to not pincer at this point. This is definitely a little bit oddball for me. Definitely a little bit more oddball for me. Okay, do I double Hane? If I double Hane, he chokes the first one, extends out. That's not good for me, so I really want to double Hane, but I don't know if that's actually smart or not. Because it may not be. I don't really have a way to kill him if he does that, I guess. Yeah, I should just extend. As long as I have this pincer right here, I feel like I'm doing okay. That's kind of a weird move. I want to do this, but then if he goes down there, it's kind of troublesome. I'm going to do this and see what he does. Okay, that's what I wanted him to do. I was afraid he would just like ignore me for the most part. It is a bit of a risk doing this for me though. Okay. It's a weird invasion. And it is one that I will cap. Okay, I know why he did that. And it is actually kind of troublesome here. He might actually be able to live in here, which is okay. It's not bad if it's not too bad if he actually lives in this place. I don't know if I'm actually playing this right. It's definitely a bit of a that's the wrong move. He definitely needs to like come out here because this group isn't really that threatened, and this move doesn't do anything. If I threaten this group, he can always just come out here. So because of that, I'm actually just going to do this and just cover over the top. That's a pretty big mistake going here instead of coming out. Coming out gives me a lot more trouble. That I don't really care about that because connecting this is actually Sente for me. I don't know if I can kill him down here, actually. It's actually pretty hard. I think it's hard to kill him. Okay. I'm going to take away his eye space. He can come out here. That's a bad move. That's Sente for me. And that really doesn't do anything for him, I don't think. Yeah, that doesn't do anything for him. If he goes down there, I can just do that. Did he just give this up? I don't know what that means because you can't give this group up. It's too much to give up. And plus, I still have this move down here. So I'm not going to do that right now, but I definitely have this move down here, which is very, very problematic for him. He doesn't have two eyes here. I mean, this isn't really all that consequential. He doesn't have that many liberties here. And I can just do this, which actually would fix the whole thing, I think. Okay. Here might be a little bit of trouble here. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. No particular reason. I don't think there's trouble there. That's probably not a good move. That's probably a wasted move, but these three are kind of weird now. And plus, like I said, I still have that move down there. It should be fine. Probably should have actually came over here. I might try attacking these two, these four, but that's actually a pretty tough attack. Yeah, I still have this down here, by the ways. That is not going to be a good move. can't really let him go down here, I guess. Didn't play this part well. That's not really all that relevant. I can cut off this corner here, obviously, but I think this is a better move here. It's definitely been kind of a strange game so far. Tuck under. This is not under threat, so my goal is just to essentially get a piece of territory over here. That's the best move here. He might try to cut. Oh, he didn't. That's fine. I actually read this on Katago. That's actually the best move there. The Hane is the best move. If he cuts, you can just go the other way. Okay, he does that. That's fine. Don't really know. This is not alive here. I think I'm just going to go on top here. This is not probably a great move, but because that's actually alive. I'm going to go here and see what happens. It's actually alive down there. I mean, it doesn't have two eyes if I do this, but it doesn't really have two eyes if I do that, but or if I clamp. But at the same time, you know, I'm not exactly that strong here. It is a bit of a risk to me to do this because I still have some irregularities here. But I think I can do this. And he can actually live down here. That's kind of a weird thing to do, but sure. Okay, that doesn't actually do anything because that's not under threat. I'm going to go ahead and fix this. Like the move I was afraid he would do is do this because that puts me in a really tough spot. Although, like, I don't think it's that bad for me. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Because this is like, when you're cutting here, you have to ask yourself, like, which of these groups are you actually threatening? You're not going to threaten this group because your group here is pretty much dead. I'm just going to do this. Your group here is pretty much dead, so you're not threatening this outer group. And you could try to cut here, but, you know, like, this is kind of like a dead end, so it doesn't really threaten that group there. Since you're not threatening, since you're not actually threatening either one of my groups, yeah, since you're not actually threatening either one of my groups, I know this is dead. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it's dead. Yeah, you're not really threatening either one of my groups, so you're just leaving your group here without half a point. And like I said, this group was alive if he just did this. I would have to Tiger's Mouth up, and that's Sente for him, but I do get a lot of influence on the outside, and I would probably try to attack this group later. Hane on both sides kills this. That would be a problem, but not really. I don't know if I could actually kill this. I can't do that because he can actually come out that way. That'd be somewhat problematic. That doesn't work. What am I going to do? What do I do here? I'm just going to do this. He could try to fight the Liberty War with me, but I'm pretty sure I have it here. He could extend out, force me to take this, come down here, and try to fight liberties with me, but I'm pretty sure I would have it. Probably, I think I'm several ahead of him here. Said like before all this happened, like this move here was problematic. That's not a good move. I'm just gonna take this. The thing is, like, he doesn't really get a Sente here now, and now I can just kind of like jump, and now this group is kind of out of threat as well. Yeah, but that doesn't actually disconnect my group, so that doesn't really do anything, because if he tries to do that... Also, I think that's the wrong way to... oh. Okay. If I just do this... Okay, if I do that, he can go this way. If I do this, he can connect down here. Okay. Might have found a way to get this to live, but he's going to lose anyways, because he lost, because he actually lost a lot. Oh, that's the wrong move. He should have done this up here. That's like the only real chance he had. Do this, I would be forced to take this, and then you might be able to live. If I disconnect you, you connect here, and then now you battle with this group, and I don't have that many liberties. So by him doing that, he's giving up this group in here. So that's kind of an exchange. It's a really bad exchange for black, but at this point, I think you have to do this exchange, because sacrificing this group in here is just way too much. Yeah, sacrificing that group in there is like way too much. You can't do that. Definitely cannot do that. Oh, I forgot to announce this stream. It's problematic. I generally need to announce the stream, because then people actually know that I'm streaming.
You have won.
Okay, he just resigned. I might actually play another game because of that. Let me actually announce the stream. And I'll just review this game on the stream, because... yeah. I totally forgot to announce it. I totally forgot to announce it. Totally forgot to announce this, because I was just kind of like trying to get into the game. It was an okay game. I think it was an okay game overall. Quite a few like fighting mistakes, a couple of shape mistakes. So couple of shape mistakes, definitely. So the game is actually finished here. But we're going to go back and review this. We're actually going to go back and review this game. My battery status is getting on my nerves. So basic start here. I pincer. My goal is to actually eventually invade here and maybe build something on this side. But this is not a good move because I think just coming over, letting me come over top is a little too much. If you do this and you let me do this, I don't know. Like I feel like it's a little too much letting someone come over on top. Like I don't actually know how to answer this, by the way. If I do this, if I do this and he comes over, I feel like I'm giving up like too much. And either if I do this or do this, I'm giving up like a little too much there, obviously. If I do this and he jumps out, I don't really like that conclusion either, although it's not bad. Because then he could pincer this and it'd be more of a fighting sequence than anything else. There is also this type of move. And remember, like, even if he does, even if he comes out here, my ladder doesn't quite work. But he's actually in a pretty tough position here as well. I would be in pretty tough position. I guess he could do something like this, and I would do this. And this would be a little bit of a trade, but I still think this actually favors white. So overall, like I don't really like that move. It's if like the outside influence didn't really matter, that would be an okay move. But since you're at the beginning of the game and the outside influence does actually matter, you let me go on top. The most likely result is you get this corner and I build like this wall here, and the wall generally overall is going to be worth more than the corner. So he does this. Obviously, I'm going to cover on top. That's the only way to do it. He does this. I do this. I can't. I mean, there is this. I guess this. You can kind of just cut this stone off, and that would actually be a pretty good result for white as well. So I could possibly do that, but then he does have like this kind of move over here. But this is like really low for black, and this isn't actually that good. He does actually have like that move here. You can, like I think it's co either way. I think it's actually co either way. If you do this, I guess you could do this first, and then you can kill this corner, but then he can just come out here. So that corner is also really not that big. So definitely clamp out here. He does this, and then there is a bit of a co here. There's no... The thing about this co is, like, it's the beginning of the game, and the thing about this co is it's the beginning of the game, and he has no co threats. So, like, there's nothing he can actually do. Remember that. Like, when you're playing, remember that. It's the beginning of the game, and he has no co threats. So, if you try to play a co in the beginning of the game, you have to be the first one to take the stone. Because if you're not the first one to take the stone, and it's literally the beginning of the game, you're not going to do all that well because you don't have any co threats. So this actually would put him in a really tough position. So yeah, I could definitely have done that. I probably should have done that, but I decided to go over. He does this. I go over here. Like on the 2 line at the beginning of the game, everyone he decides to crawl more is an advantage for white. The outside influence you gain is going to be worth more than the 1 point he crawls on the bottom. That's not bad. I'm going to block. I probably should have just... I'm going to block because I want this wall over here. And then he does that. Now, obviously, I have this wall over here, so I'm not just going to like comfortably let him take a 2-space jump here. So I'm definitely going to pincer on that. It might have been better if I did this pincer, but I'm definitely going to pincer on this. He's going to fly in. I'm going to do this. So this, obviously, I'm sort of aiming for this kind of thing. But I think I actually like this kind of shape, but maybe like the AI doesn't. So that's actually what I was aiming for. Obviously, he didn't go for that. He comes up. I do this. He does that. The thing is, like, I was actually thinking about doing this, but the thing is, I don't really know how, like... Yeah, I guess I should have... I definitely should have double hunted. I don't really know why I didn't. I definitely should have double hunted. because he can't actually do this because I'm gonna yeah, that doesn't. But this is actually not too bad of a result for him because this is actually not too bad of a result for him. I would obviously do something like this at this point and then build up like this, try to build up this Moyo or something. You know, that's what I would actually do at this point. Use that Pete move. I definitely messed up by not double honeying. Doing this is not a good idea. This is definitely like the way to go here in this move. But if I were black, I would actually do this. Because if white does this, then you know these 4 stones are probably dead. So if white does, like white has to kind of do this. And yeah, you do sacrifice the corner, but you do get this 1 stone outside. And since I was building this Moyo over here, this actually could be helpful to reducing this out here. So that's actually, I don't think that's too bad for black overall. He does this, I extend out, I miss that move. He does over here. I'm going to do this, and like I said, I was afraid he was going to do this. Okay, because if he does that, like, this isn't all that, this stone is not all that big. So if I do this, you can always just go under. And like, even these two aren't that big. So I was afraid he was actually going to do this. And that would force me to do some like other, that would force me to do this, or possibly do this. And if he does this and I do this, this is definitely going to remove, this is going to, first of all, this is going to give me a lot of trouble. But it also reduces my Moyo significantly, even if I am successful. So if someone does this, your answer is probably to go like out here instead. Like if someone does that, you definitely have to jump. You don't want to go under. You want to jump. He does the 4. And then this, if he does this, you just take because this ladder doesn't really work for him. So he would actually have to play out the sequence. He would actually have to play out the sequence that's actually listed here. So he would go here. I don't really know about 13, 14, 15, but you know, like essentially you get the bottom, he breaks your Moyo on top. And that's not a good result for white because you spent a lot of stones building up this Moyo and now he just broke all of it. So that's not a, that's actually not a very good result for white. So like in this kind of scenario, like me going on top was definitely being really, really greedy. Me going on top was being really, really greedy, and I should have probably just done this. Because this actually kind of has a problem. So I probably should have just done this to actually try to get this territory over here. But either way, I did this. This is definitely a big mistake because, like I said, this doesn't really matter all that much. So that's a big mistake. And then it lets me get this move. Now this still kind of has a problem later, later on, right? Because there's not a good way to answer. You could do this, but then now he would be settled, and your potential for points is pretty drastically reduced by doing that. If you go on this side, then you know you have a problem with him doing this, and he has more liberties than you, so you can't really do that. This would just be problematic if he kind of like banks on one side because this down here is not very good. So I was actually afraid of him actually doing that. And I think I mentioned it in game that I was actually afraid of him doing this. So he invades, I cap. Yeah, I mean, like, once he invades like this, like, there's really not much you can do. If you do this and you let him jump up, now your two stones are threatened, and you have, like, your Moyo's not much use over here. So since he's invading really low, I'm going to cap. I think this invasion would have actually given me more trouble. I'm not exactly sure what I would have done. Maybe I would have just taken the low route and done this. But I think that invasion is harder to answer than this invasion, because this invasion is an obvious cap. And then he does this. This is a huge, huge mistake. Like I said, like attaching out is by far the best answer here. And then, like, I guess you could actually try to, so the sequence would actually be like something like that. Like, you're not going to be really able to threaten this or threaten this in here, but you do get some influence on the outside to build up this Moyo over here. So that's kind of like the sequence. But like, this is generally a pretty bad move, because like my only weakness is like my only weakness is really these 4 stones in here. These 4 stones in here are really my only weakness. And that's because they're not connected. This move, like, the thing is, like, if you come out, just say, just say I do this, like that. If I come out, like, this doesn't really threaten anything, right? Like, you always have the opportunity to do this, and then, like, regardless of what I answer, you can just, like, base down here. So that doesn't actually threaten all that much. You're not really threatened by that particular move. And obviously, if you do this and you let me do something like this, you're obviously, like, this group is a lot more threatened than, like, this group in here, if I actually did that. So because this move isn't actually all that critical, it's really not worth all that much. Then that lets me cover up. He does that. I'm going to fly in. So, like, some people are probably wondering about this. If I do this, he goes back. You don't have to do that. You can just do this, and you would still live here. So that is a bad move because let's just say he does live. Now I have this move to solidify the corner. See, he has to take here, and I get the double Atari here. It's even Sente. It's even kind of like Sente-ish here. So, like, letting me using this to let me connect this is a pretty bad move. So I'm going to connect. Obviously, he's going to come out, and I'm obviously going to jump out here. The thing is, if I do this, this is not great for him, but I do think he can somehow live down here because if he connects, I have to go back, and this is actually alive. This is a really, really bad way for black to live. And of course, like, this is really, this obviously is really big now. He lets me surround him, plus I get the corner here. That's a very, very bad, that's a very bad trade for him. Plus, I'm really, really thick out here. So obviously that's a bad trade for him, but I wanted, at this point, like, I think I was being greedy and just wanted to kill the entire group, so I'm going to come out here. He's going to do this, and I'm going to retreat here. That's a bad move because, like, it kills this eye shape in here, and that doesn't really do anything right now. That's also a bad move because, like, it still doesn't take away this move here. Like, essentially, if I do this move, you have to do this, and I still get the double Atari, and that's still kind of like a Sente kill. So because I connected this move, like, any moves down here don't really matter until you fix this problem here. So he does this. I'm going to do this. Going to do that. And of course, I'm going to threaten to disconnect here. He comes up here. I basically just want to fix this problem. But this isn't really much of a problem. Even if he Atari's here, I would just do this, and now this threat would be over because I get the corner. Right? And in fact, that's probably what I should have done. When he does this, I definitely should have just done this or something. Because, I'm sure he would have done this. I would have Hane'd over. Then I would have gone down here. Now, this at most is one Gote eye. And it's not even an eye. So I definitely should have just played that way. Because that actually gives me the points in the corner as well. But I do this. He does that. I probably just shouldn't have bothered. But I do this anyways. This move is not relevant. I don't know what I was thinking when I made that move. This is a much better move. Because as long as I assure that this, my liberties are a lot more than his, and I can just, like, go ahead and kill this territory here. So I don't really know what I was thinking. This is a really bad move. Do that. I connect. He goes out here. I do this. This is fine. Come out here. He does that. I don't really understand this move because I don't really understand this move because, see, like, I know a lot of players like to copy Kata, but the reason Kata does these, like, attachment moves is Kata's doing these attachment moves because he's building influence towards something. Doing this doesn't really build influence towards anything. There's no, like, reason because, like, your group's not really that much stronger here, and there's no like potential for territory in here. So, like, doing attachment moves generally, like Kata does, for no reason at all, generally hurts you because it solidifies the other person's territory. When Kata does it, when Kata Go does it, they always have a purpose. Like they're trying to like, let's say like if none of these stones were like if none of these stones were here and this wasn't sticking out here, him doing this and making me do all the attachments, he's trying to solidify a wall here. But you doing this and letting me tiger's mouth up doesn't really do any of that. I mean, you're not making yourself any thicker down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. See, like, and then he does that, which isn't necessary because I wasn't gonna come out here anyways, and plus, like, I can't really disconnect him anyways, so that's not really necessary. This probably would be a better move, or probably like this or something, or maybe just like be more safe and play like this or something. I think that those would have been much better moves. Of course, I'm going to ignore that. It doesn't threaten me, so I'm going to go ahead and invade over here. This particular invasion, I would definitely do this. At this point, you need to grab territory, and the corner is actually a lot of territory. The center has some potential, but as you can see, like both sides are in the center, and it's going to be, and this comes out over here. Generally, this group isn't really in danger because this is always Sente. So like generally this group out here, and this also lives, so it's not really much of a big deal. But like generally this group is actually in the center here, already out in the center, and it's very hard for when in this type of position for white to actually make any territory or black to make any territory. So you just want to grab the bigger corner territory for the most part. So he does this. This lets me take some of the corner. That's generally a bad move because that lets me Hane the corner, which is actually a pretty big move. Generally, like when I do this, either people just ignore this. Most people would either just ignore this and maybe do something like this, or they just play somewhere else. Maybe like you want to play here or something. But doing this lets me Hane. That's not worth very much. Like I think doing this, you might want to think about doing this. I would have to do this and probably do this. The ladder doesn't work for you. But I don't really know if, oh, maybe the ladder does. I don't know if the ladder actually does or not. I'm not actually sure. Even if the ladder didn't work, I wouldn't bother to run this stone because it's just not worth it for me. Yeah, the ladder does actually work for him. But yeah, but you know, giving me this corner and then taking a Gote at that, and I would probably end up doing something like this. To me, there's not much potential in the corner. To me, there's not too much potential in the middle because I already have all of this out here. And essentially letting me get like the corner and then giving me Sente to solidify this is generally not a winning move. So obviously when I Hane, but you also can't connect because if you connect, you basically just gave me like this free Hane up here. Your two space extension is too small for your wall here. So that's why like people when in this situation, they can do this, which grabs them the corner space. They can not do anything, which a lot of people opt to do, or they can just like pincer this over here. So doing this is not a good solution because I get half the corner, I get like the space over here, and you get a very small extension over here. That I'm actually not sure how to answer. But I think this is the most obvious answer, obviously. I think this is the most obvious answer. I think a lot of people would do that. Going up here, I'm now threatening this group. But the thing is, if you do this, I can't really threaten you. Of course, that would give me the free Hane. But it's very hard for me to threaten you if you do that. I mean, it's not completely alive. You would have to do like this or something. But it's not like, it's not dead. It's really not dead. Right? I mean, like, yeah, sure. But this is still alive, right? Like, I can't really threaten. I really can't threaten this. I really can't threaten this group as long as he plays that move. Or like even like this is always going to be Sente because I have to do this, and then you know like you can do stuff like this. And it's just near impossible for me to kill you if you know how to play this right. And realistically, though, just doing this, like, I can't do anything. just doing that, I honestly cannot do anything. And the thing is, like, if you do something like this, now I might actually be the one in trouble. I would probably do this, but then if you come down here, you know, I don't really know how that, yeah, like, I think, I'm pretty sure, I think black actually wins this one. So it would put me in a pretty tough position. So yeah, oh wait, when I'm doing this, I would actually do this just like I did, but I would actually do this. But then you have like moves like this, and you have a bunch, you actually have a lot of forcing moves. You have a lot of forcing moves that actually give me a kind of a hard time. And the thing is, you don't really need to do anything. If you connect this, you're not going to be, you're not really going to die. Or if you just do this, you're not really going to die. So like this outcome isn't bad. This outcome's actually not that bad. So like that group should not have died in there. So this move, I was trying to get maybe a little bit of territory here in the future. He does that. I do that. He goes in. I'm gonna go here. He does this. I'm gonna just Tiger's Mouth here. This is kind of irrelevant because you can't come out here. But like I said, you're not dead. All you have to do is do this, and you're generally okay. Well, no, all you really have to do is essentially do this, and you're okay. Because I would have to Sente break one of your eyes down here, and it's not just going to work. So if I Gote break your eye down here, I can just come up here. So yeah, you don't actually have to do any of this. And this just helps this actually just helps strengthen me. So essentially, like, this is alive. And that's all you really need to do. Then he tries to do that. And this, like I said in the game, this cut doesn't actually do anything. Because when you're cutting, you have to think, like, which group am I actually threatening? You have to think about which group you're actually threatening. Am I threatening this giant group here? No, this giant group isn't threatened because he's already got eye space here, and plus he's always got this move here. Am I threatening this group with this cut? No, because you don't have enough, you don't have enough liberties down here. So essentially, I'm just going to do this. And I was kind of afraid of this move, because this would put me in a really, really tough position. You see, like, that wouldn't work. Like I'm not actually alive down. Like, in this part, I'm not really alive down here. I guess, like, the thing is, like, but if I do this, I am alive, but then you're alive as well. So you have this, right? Like, this move, yeah, this is just not good because I mean, like, my liberties, I don't have that many liberties either. And I'd be stuck fighting your group, so I don't like this at all. So I was really afraid of this particular move, but he didn't actually play it. I was really afraid of this move, and that's why, like, even this move is still Sente, because I have to respond, and then you can just, live. I wasn't actually depending on killing this group down here, because I didn't think there was really a way, like, I didn't really think there was an easy way it could die. Like, this is the one move I was really afraid of. I can't really, like, read exactly, like, how the liberties work out here, but that's actually a really powerful move. But he disconnects, which lets me fix this problem. Now, since I've actually fixed this problem, I think the only thing you can do is do this and make a life. But even if you did that, at this point, I might just do this, and you might not actually have any eyes here is the problem. You would have to fight a Ko with me here. And even if you do, I can just kind of, like, do this, and you wouldn't have any eyes. So yeah, like, the trip home doesn't really work. But it is, like, but you can fight the Ko with me to get all of this to be alive, and I really wouldn't want that to happen. So these are bad moves. that probably that might have been like the kill, like the move that actually kills him, because at this point, like, you don't have two eyes here. If you do this, I'm just gonna do this, and obviously this is still dead. So this is actually the final move that actually kills him right here, because you need to kind of like you really need to kind of expand your eyes here, and if I do this, you could just curl, I guess. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of hard to... It is really, really hard to make two eyes here once I do this. Because, like, since you're encapsulated, since you're actually encapsulated so tight, that would actually work. That honestly that would actually work against you. But then that really... Well, yeah, maybe you could do that. Maybe not, because that's not actually an eye. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't really work then. Yeah, this is pretty, like, at this point it is dead, because this wouldn't actually work. Because, like, even if you connect these two groups, they're both dead, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. When I do that, after I do that, I guess the group is just kind of dead. But that, like, kills him for sure. Connects. I'm going to do this. I do this. Obviously, if you Hane both sides, it's dead. I'm going to go ahead and do that. He does this. I connect. So the thing is, like, here, if you want to fight, you would do this. This might force me to actually do this. I mean, I guess I could jump out here. You could extend and see, like, how the Liberty battle goes, but I don't think you could actually capture these four out here. But if you did want to fight, you would actually extend this one and not really Atari, because if you Atari, you don't actually get the Sente extend now. It does this. I'm gonna connect. He does this, and I'm gonna jump out here. Does that. I'm gonna extend. He does that. So this one, I should have just done this. I forgot. There's a thing he didn't actually see here. He does this. I do this. He does that. So the thing is, like, here, when I do this, he should have done this, because I think that would force me to take here, and he would actually live this piece, but then, like, you know, down here, he's in trouble. So this is why I should have, when he does this, I should have just connected. This is why I should have just connected when he does that. But, or this, I should have just done this. He takes, I have to connect. So I made a pretty big I made a pretty bad mistake here, because if I do this and I do this and he connects, this is a little bit problematic for this group down here. He can... I think I still might win this. I'm not really sure. Now I have this, so I guess it's okay. I actually do have this because it's okay. Yeah, it's alive. It's alive. So I guess this is okay. Yeah, this is alive. So I guess this wouldn't. I guess that really wouldn't work for him. But that wouldn't work there. But you do have to think about stuff like this, because I might just be like, oh, I'm not really sure how this fight will go, so I'm just gonna take this, let you live. But then, I mean, like, you know, I would do something like that and break your territory here. And plus, now these stones are actually weak. So it's not a great result for him, but he might be able to actually convince me to just take the two stones and live. And if the Liberty situation was different here, that would be what I would have to do. So he connects this. I'm going to connect this. Now this is completely dead. And then the game's over here. So a lot of, like, mistakes in this game. I made several mistakes as well. This obviously is a big, like, this obviously is a big mistake. Just like you invading here, as long as I get this Sente connect, like, even if you live in here, I still win this fight, because now I get the corner. Obviously, like, this little mistake here, squeezing and then letting me hane. And obviously like some mistakes here in the fighting as well as here in the fighting. So remember, like if your group's in danger and you're being surrounded in enemy territory, if your group's in danger and you're being surrounded in enemy territory, like before you answer my move, you have to ask like, does this move actually threaten anything? Right now, this move doesn't threaten anything, but this move does. So this is obviously the better move. So that's actually a really, really big mistake there. Because like if he had actually come out here, it would be an entirely different game. Because now these 4 stones would actually be sort of threatened. And his group here is still not really all that threatened. So hope you learned something from that review. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. And I will see you guys later. 08's a really awkward shape. Which let me actually look at 08. Maybe it's a little 08. Maybe N8 is better. No, well N8's not actually better because this is N8. Right, N8's here. That was before you played the empty triangle variation you were showing. Yeah, unfortunately when I'm reviewing, I can't really pay that much attention to the stream because I'm just... Oh, you mean... Oh, but 08 is actually here. You realized it during the review. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the main problem with this is like he actually played here, and not here, because like I said, like this doesn't actually threaten anything, and this doesn't really do anything. Like this is a completely new ball game. Yes, I would still slightly be ahead if he played this, but like this Moyo isn't as nearly as useful. So like, I mean like. Yeah, I don't really know about this move. I mean, maybe I should just do this instead. But then again, like, because then this doesn't really work quite as well, right? But then, like, but then the thing is, if I do this, like, what if he, like, this, like, that's actually really problematic for me if he actually does that. Because, if I do this, then this is just dead. So the thing is, that's actually why I chose to do this, because like there's always like the threat of like this here. So I guess like I was just trying to fix that. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's the review. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.